Welcome to our Devos. We are talking this week about building and keeping on building. And as we looked over this weekend at our sermon on Finish Strong and the importance of building and recognizing that there's a battle waging, well, it's really important that when you are wanting to sacrifice, when you are wanting to do anything for the Lord, when you are wanting to give, when you are wanting to serve, when you are wanting to put yourself in a place of uncomfortableness, you're going to have to guard against one of your greatest enemies, and that is yourself. We are our own worst enemies sometimes with regards to the things that God wants us to do. Doing some light writing on a project that I've been working on, and I recognize at my age, and a lot of you have realized this already, that the older you get, the thing you realize is it's more valuable, the time that you have, than it is money, because you could always make more money and figure out ways to make more money, but you can't create more time. Well, I get mad at myself when I find that I have set aside time to work on a project or set aside time to work on my sermon, and then I find myself doing stupid, nonsensical things that aren't adding any value and that are actually taking away value from what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm like, oh, why do I do that? So I have to guard myself at times against that. I have to put myself in a situation where I know that what I'm doing now is my time is really valuable, and I have to make sure that I guard this time, this sermon preparation time, or this time where I have to spend time with my wife, or this time where I have to do stuff with my kids. I have to guard that. And one of the things when you are trying to be generous that you have to guard yourself against, and this is Jesus's actual warning to his followers, is we have to guard against greed. A lot of times when we are thinking of being more generous, not just with giving in the church or giving in general, and we're thinking about how we want to do something great when it comes to generosity, we'll say, well, I can't possibly do that. Well, your can't is actually a won't. It's not an issue of I'm unable to do this. It's an issue of I'm not willing to give up something in order to do this. And so what happens is we guard ourselves on a lot of the things that are the big ticket items that interact negatively with our faith, things like lust and hate and, maybe too much anger and rage and all of those things. But greed is one of those things that we could find ourselves being so materialistic that it blinds us to some areas where God could allow us to sacrifice. Like, do we need to get a new iPhone every single year? Do we need to get a new computer every time a new one comes out? Do we need to have the most premium? And there's people that have done this where they look at their subscriptions and they'll say, well, do I need to have 250 ESPN channels in Spanish? Do I need those because I don't speak Spanish and I don't watch ESPN that much? And you start to realize there are things that you're allowing yourself to indulge in that aren't really that big of a deal. And it's really an issue of greed. You're like, well, I've always had this. I want more. I want the best. And instead, we don't guard ourselves against that. Jesus says in Luke chapter 12, verse 15, take care and be on your guard against all covetousness, to make sure that we're aware that when we are saying that God wants us to do something, whether it's give, whether it's sacrifice, whether it's serve, and we say, well, I can't possibly do that, the question is it can't or is it won't? Is it can't or is it won't? Because the answer to that question is really going to determine, is your heart being pulled away by an enemy of covetousness and greed, or are you genuinely all in and you're sacrificing as much as you can? That is only a question that you can answer. But as soon as you see this, as soon as you see it come up in your life, the most important thing is that you address it and you figure out, how can I remove this? Because God will use you, the more of your heart, the more of your time, the more of your life that you submit wholly to Him.